Well, I think we'll go ahead and get started. We have a great group of people here this afternoon to join with us in retiring the Johnston City Hall. I want to thank you all for turning out. And when I look across the crowd here, and I even behind the mask, I see a lot of friendly faces, a lot of friends, both old and new. And again, I just want to thank you all for being here this afternoon. Of course, we're here this afternoon to say goodbye to an old friend, the original City Hall here in Johnston. This building has served us well for the past 35 years, but the fact is she wasn't built as a City Hall. As you all know, she began as a grocery store here in Johnston. But like so many of you, when duty called, she stepped up to the plate and she did her very best to make Johnston the great community that it is today. Many important decisions have been made in this building, which have led to some incredible growth and success in our community through the years. Decisions that our residents have supported: development of our expansive park system, our trails, our bike trails, our water trails, construction of a new library, a new public safety building, redevelopment of locations along our major corridors as retail and business centers, and continued attention to our essential infrastructure, our streets, our water services, our sewer services that contribute so significantly to the quality of life that we enjoy here in Johnston. Thanks to all of you, and I see former members of the Johnston City Council, I see former mayors here, lots of former staff as well as current staff. All of you have participated in that important decision-making through the years. You can be proud that long after this building is gone, the decisions you helped make and implement laid the foundation for the great community that we love and live in today. While the decision to create a town center and a new city hall was made long before COVID-19 became such a common word in our vocabulary, its presence in our lives has driven home why a new city hall is so important. We've continued to provide services to our residents since March of this year, since COVID-19 became a community spread throughout Iowa, but COVID-19 has made it challenging. The building behind me is small, too small to accommodate many people if you're social distancing. It's woefully inadequate in terms of safety and security protections for staff and the public. And it cannot support the technological features that we need in a society that has grown accustomed to doing things remotely. The new building will address all of those needs. The building behind me, she's been a humble and loyal friend, but it's time to say goodbye. But before we do, we have a few other people who want to share with you some history about the building, some information about the building, and their experiences in it. So with that, I'm going to call forward Mary Jane Paez, a former city council member and also a member of the Historical Society here in Johnston. And she's going to share with us just a little bit of history about this building.
It's good to see everybody here. For those of you who remember the TV show The Jeffersons from the 70s and 80s, the lead-in song was, "Well, we're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky." Well, we are moving on up to this beautiful new City Hall, but we can look back at the past moves. We all should be aware of our humble beginnings in 1969, when Mayor Sutherwick and his city council met in his basement to make plans for our new city. It was very important that they needed a place to meet for public participation. Some of the members of the council were members of the Lions Club. They knew that the city would be able to use the building. In 1947, the Johnston Lions Club had purchased an old building and the land on the corner of Merle Hay and 64th Place from Ben Dewey for $2,220. The Lions remodeled and transformed the building into their meeting place, which also became the community center for many groups. The city council met there for their bi-weekly meetings, but there was no office space. That worked for a while since the city officials did all the work that a staff would have done, and their desk work was done at their homes. The city eventually saw the need for a place with office space where they could have a city clerk, a treasurer, and other staff as was required. They rented an area in the center of the Johnston Shopping Center strip mall across from Hy-Vee. The city now had a chamber for council meetings and other board meetings, along with office space. My experience with that site started in 1980 when I was asked if I would serve on the park board. This city hall served the community well for several years. In 1986, the Johnston Shopping Center City Hall was no longer adequate for space. Johnston was growing fast. The original Hy-Vee on the corner of Merle Hay and 62nd Avenue wanted to be able to have a deli, which required sanitary sewer. Hy-Vee built the new store in Green Meadows just south of Billy Square. Their first building, this one, became available for the city to purchase. With remodeling, there was plenty of room for city administration, community development department, the police department, and the first library. In 1988, when the library was nearly ready, Vice President H.W. Bush used the space right here in the library for a presidential campaign stop. The staff asked the Johnston Jazz Band to perform. My son was part of that jazz band. I had more experience with this city hall. I served on the Planning and Zoning Commission, 2 terms on the Comprehensive Planning Board. I also served 2 terms on the City Council starting in 1992. During those years, the council accomplished many projects that were the basis for more growth, safety, and well-being. With the dedication of the staff, elected officials, the community, and hard work, the city has flourished since those first days. Our retired City Hall has served for 35 years. We are definitely moving on up.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Thank you for all of your years of service to Johnston and your continued service on the Historical Society. If it were not for you, we probably wouldn't know as much about the history of Johnston as we do. And it certainly is a rich history, so thank you for continuing to do that. So the next presenter that we have this evening is Katie Fiala. She's the library board president, and as Mary Jane just shared, when we first started using this building as City Hall, it was not only the building for City Hall and the city administrative offices and community development, but it was also the location for our library and police department and public works. So first we're going to start with Katie, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about life at this building for the library. Thank you, Katie.
And this is the childhood library I remember coming to. I was also privileged enough to have my first job as a teenager right at this location, so lots of good memories to think about tonight. So our Johnston Library opened here in 1988 as a branch of the Urbandale Public Library, and we slowly worked our way to an independent library system like we are today. By 1997, it was apparent the library was outgrowing this space, and we began planning for our new building at our current location at 6700 Merle Hay Road. In June 1998, the council approved a resolution to make our new library part of the Johnston Commons project. At that time, we had just over 6,000 cardholders and circulation was over 100,000 items. So after a bond issue, some large fundraising projects, we were able to open our new location on October 6, 2001, and we've happily been there for 19 years. We've expanded our hours that we're open to the public, we've expanded circulation, and as of today, we're up to over 10,500 cardholders at our new library. Now with 32 years of service to the community, I'd like to reflect on my fond memories of this particular location. Some of you probably join me in remembering our children's corner. I mean, it can't even really be called an area at the library, but this front area where we had a single table for kids with all the kids' items. We had 2 public computers, always in high demand. There was a single workroom for all of the staff right behind the circulation desk. I particularly remember our new book section, which was just a stack of materials on top of our magazines because space was absolutely maxed out in this building. But I want to join everyone here in saying thank you to what this space offered us and continuing to look forward to what the future holds for our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie, and thank you for continuing to call Johnston your home. You grew up here and you live here and you continue to contribute to the community, so thank you for that. Next, we'll have Tyler Tompkins, who is the Johnston Police Lieutenant, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about when the Johnston Police Department was in this building. And let me just share real quickly. You know, one day, and I don't remember why. It wasn't because I was arrested and had to pay a fine or anything, but I was taken up to where you were located in this building, and I could not believe the small little space in the attic of this building where the police department initially started. So you're probably going to talk a little bit more about that. Okay, come on over.
I'm going to talk about that because that was my office.
And everybody else's.
Yeah, for you Johnston historians, police historians, I'm sure you're out there. Anybody notice anything different about my uniform? No? The patch? This patch is, and this shirt is 13 years old. So this shirt is what we wore when we first were in this building here. So my wife found it, I don't know, a week or two ago, and she goes, that'll never fit. And she was right. So the Johnston Police Department formed around 1969 to 1970, and it found its first home in the strip mall across from Hy-Vee, as they talked about. Shortly later, it was moved to a once single-family home where HEPA now stands at 59th and 62nd. After that, moved here to 6221 Merle Hay and found its home in part of the stockroom and upstairs break room of the old Hy-Vee here that the mayor mentioned. Later, we fought for some space in the vacant library to fit the ever-expanding department. The department continued to occupy this building until its current purpose-built home was completed down the road 6373 Merle Hay in 2014. For me personally, I started my law enforcement career here and actually started working for the city, I think in 1997 on the streets crew. So I've been in this building for a long time, and most of my law enforcement career was here. I started as an administrative assistant and dispatcher while I was working through college, and started actually here at the police department in 2000, all the way through in this building until 2014 when I left as the sergeant of investigations when we moved up the street. I have a lot of fond memories of this building. The building provided the department a space for many years, only ending our tenancy here when the needs of the community just outgrew the building. To give you an example, when I started, the department had just hired its 13th officer, me, all the way through to 31 officers and 4 civilian personnel that now make up your Johnston Police Department. Some things I will not miss about this building. I thought I'd bring it up. You were talking about the attic. So the attic upstairs used to be the break room or office area of the Hy-Vee. And since it was my office, it also had a window air unit. That window air unit had to run if it was 90 out or if it was negative 30 out, because it was just that hot upstairs. There was no air conditioning or really heat up there. Also, I will not miss the back door of this building, which allows the rain and snow to sit on the door frame. And I forgot about every time I went to open that door and it all came down my back in my uniform. I will not miss that either. While our home as a department has changed since its strip mall beginnings, the department's commitment to this city has not. With each home we've held, just like the one behind me here, we work to serve the citizens 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. As our community is ever growing, the citizens and City Council of Johnston have been generous in providing the needed facilities and improvements required for this ever-expanding community. So congratulations on the new City Hall. And I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Lieutenant Tompkins. And you know, when you said that that was the same shirt that you wore 13 years ago, I was really impressed. But then it made me kind of wonder if you didn't make a little trip down to the tailors here on Merle Hay before you showed up here today with it on. So anyway, and thank you for all of your service to this community. You've been with us for a long time and you do a great job for us. So thank you for that. You know, I'm going to go off script here just a little bit and see if there's anybody else that's with us today that would like to make just a couple of comments, share some fond memories of this building. Do I have any takers? Former council members, former mayors, former staff? Well, maybe we'll. I saw some movement, a live body. So it's kind of like at an auction. If you move your hand, you're up. Well, maybe not. Maybe we can hear some of those stories later. But again, I just want to thank you all for being here. Jim did say that he had a key that we could do a ceremonial locking of the door. He said it wasn't a key that goes to this door, but he said if we wanted to use it, we could. Probably just want to pass on that. But I do want to make sure that we do take pictures of everybody that is here, because this will be the last time we're gathered together in front of this building to be able to take those pictures and to have those memories. I'll also mention that there are refreshments on the table here, so help yourself. The t-shirts are not for sale. We're giving them away. Please take them. They are not going to the new City Hall, so if you don't take them tonight, they'll probably show up in somebody's rag bag. So please help yourself to that. So anyway, I think with that, we do have the mayor's gavel. I will say that I don't think I have ever used it. We've never had a crowd so rowdy that I felt like I had to call things to order, but we will be moving this gavel over to the new City Hall after our little gathering this evening. So with that, we'll make the transfer, and we'll close the program and have pictures taken. So please participate in the pictures, because we want to memorialize this evening. Thank you very much.